Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into Title Update 3 for Monster Hunter Wilds. And yes, we're finally talking about Omega, a monster that's been the source of speculation for months. Thanks to the latest data mines and some insider translation, we now know that Omega is EM0166, and it's not an Elder Dragon. In this video, I'll break down everything we know about Omega, what its classification really means, how this affects the future roster for Wilds, and what it might hint at for Title Update 4.
Oh shit, here we go again.
Alright, so let's talk about what's confirmed. Omega's internal ID is EM0166, which was not present in the earliest data mines. Back then, EM0165 was the last known monster ID, so Omega was a very late addition. This lines up with Capcom's own timeline. Apparently, the Final Fantasy collaboration that brought Omega into Wilds didn't even start development talks until August 2024. That means Omega wasn't part of the original planned roster, but rather a special late-stage collab monster, just like Behemoth in World. But here's the twist. Omega is no longer classified as an Elder Dragon. That's a big deal, because early speculation had Omega filling that Elder Dragon slot, similar to Behemoth's special status. Instead, its classification is, well, a bit weirder. So if it's not an Elder Dragon, what is it? According to the files, Omega sits in a sort of unique category. The Japanese classification uses the term Zoryoshu, which roughly translates to something like created wyvern. This is fascinating because the construct category in Wild so far has only included organic creatures, basically bioengineered or cloned wyverns created by Wyveria. Omega, on the other hand, is partly mechanical, partly alien, and technically from a whole other dimension. That puts it in a weird space, no pun intended, where it's neither fully organic nor a simple collab gimmick. Some fans are even suggesting it should have been classified as a relic, like the Leshen from the Witcher collab. Personally, I love that Capcom is willing to play with these boundaries, because it makes Omega feel truly otherworldly. Here's another interesting detail from the data mine. EM1165 refers to the smaller Omegas that appeared during the fight. We are looking at a multi-phase encounter, with the big Omega deploying, or should I say summon, smaller versions of itself mid-hunt. This could work a bit like the Behemoth Comets and adds mechanic in world, or even closer to an MMO style raid fight. And if you think about it, that makes perfect sense. Omega in Final Fantasy XIV is basically a raid boss. Bringing that energy into Wilds could make Title Update 3 one of the most mechanically complex hunts we've seen so far. Especially with the Starboard and Lardboard, that shit goes crazy. Now here's where things get really interesting, because Omega's ID is EM0166. We now know the base roster for Wilds is essentially complete. This means it's extremely unlikely that we're going to see any brand new, never before seen monsters added to Wilds before the expansion. Historically, the monster ID list is finalized very early, with collab monsters always being the last entries. So if you were holding out hope for a surprise brand new Elder Dragon in Title Update 4, sorry, but the data basically confirms that will not happen. What we could still see, however, are returning monsters being brought back. Title Update 3 gave us Omega and the announcement of Gogmazios for December, and there's some speculation that we might see Zoshia or an EM0164 variant show up later. Another factor here is sales. Some in the community have speculated that the slightly slower sales for Wilds compared to World might push Capcom to add extra monsters in later updates. That's obviously not confirmed, but historically Capcom has used late updates to breathe life back into a game. So Title Update 4 might not add a brand new monster, but they could still give us something wild. Maybe a brand new variant, maybe another collab. Remember how Iceborne got a surprise Elytron late in its life cycle? Hey man, anything is possible. So there you have it. Omega is EM0166, not an Elder Dragon, and possibly one of the most unique hunts we'll ever get in Wilds. If you made it this far in the video, drop a like, subscribe, and let me know down in the comments. Are you excited for Omega? Have you already fought it? Did you beat it? Do you like that it's not an Elder Dragon and it sits in its own weird classification? Or would you have preferred a brand new Elder for Title Update 3? Thank you guys for watching this video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.